Book of the Dead, Magic and Theology, Gods, Spirits, Demons of the Book of the Dead. Thoth and the male deities of the Final Judgment. While female deities may in general be interchangeable in their motherly, protective role toward the deceased, male deities have more individual roles in the Book of the Dead. In the popular scene of the Final Judgment, which is represented by the vignette of Spell 125, which is a widespread iconographic motif on coffins from the New Kingdom onward and on the later books of Breathing chapter 12, a few central male deities occur, such as Thoth, Anubis, and the four sons of Horus. The importance of the judgment and in general of trials for the dead in front of divine tribunals, in ancient Egyptian Jajat, which is also the topic of spells 18 and 20, is connected to the myth as well, in particular to the mythological account of the justification of Osiris and of the contending of Horus and Seth. The scene of the scale upon which the heart of the deceased is weighed against the feather of Maat, the symbol of justice and cosmic order, also personified as a goddess in front of Osiris, or more rarely Re, and of the gods overseeing this crucial moment, is attested very frequently also on coffins, mummy bandages, and shrouds. In one isolated case, a temple version of the scene of the judgment dating to the Ptolemaic period occurs as well in Deir el-Medina, Thebes. In this scene Thoth, the ibis or baboon god, who is known as the god of writing and wisdom, takes the specific role of recorder of the verdict and is represented as an ibis-headed anthropomorphic god, his human body making it possible to exploit his scribal activity. In general, the anthropomorphic body of gods in the Book of the Dead, as well as in other ritual and funerary depictions, denote their humanness and ability to interact with humans or the deceased. Indeed, the same concept applies to Anubis, the Jacka-headed god who in the judgment scene oversees the scale, sometimes accompanied by another god such as Horus. In a less active role, Thoth, in his theriomorphic form of baboon, can be depicted overseeing the scale as well, as in Papyrus Ryerson, where two extra small scales overseen by a baboon are used as decorative motifs to frame the architecture of the Hall of the Two Truths, where the judgment takes place. Similar to Thoth and Anubis, the main gods mentioned in the Book of the Dead, who appear in mythological accounts and temple scenes and texts, have more than one manifestation, mostly animal or hybrid with animal head and human body, and can play more than one role. Both Thoth and Anubis, for instance, occur in a number of other spells besides Spell 125, and in each of them are characterized according to the context. The jackal-headed Anubis, for instance, when occurring in Spell 151 of the Book of the Dead, takes the role of embalmer, and the vignette of the same spell, whose central scene sees him overseeing the funerary bed where the deceased's mummy or coffin lies, is another popular motif on funerary objects and in tomb decorations. Anubis was, as a matter of fact, a very old funerary god, protector of the king's burial since the beginning of the pharaonic period and with chapels in temples throughout Egypt. He shared the important epithet of foremost of the Westerners, Khentiamantu, with the god Osiris. He must be distinguished from another ancient and important funerary jackal god, Wepwawet, literally, the opener of the ways. In the vignette of Spell 138, which is a spell for entering Abydos and being in the following of Osiris, both Anubis and Wepwawet are depicted as jackals on a stand. A series of other jackal-faced gods and demonic beings populate the Book of the Dead as well, showing how popular canids, and in particular jackals, were as manifestations of funerary deities. Already from the few remarks made above on a sample of deities mentioned and depicted in the Book of the Dead, one may be able to single out a few central features characterizing the divine world of the ancient Egyptian afterlife. First of all, it is clear how the main deities of the ancient Egyptian pantheon, when acting within a funerary context such as that of the Book of the Dead, recall the mythological accounts in which they play a role. Moreover, they generally have a protective and benevolent function toward the deceased who seeks a physical and spiritual empowerment in order to become an AKH, a divine, transfigured spirit. Finally, their iconography is rather fixed and traditional. Thoth is an ibis or a baboon, Anubis is a jackal god, Sobek is a crocodile, and Ptah is an anthropomorphic god. A series of supernatural inhabitants of the netherworld, also widely depicted and mentioned in the spells, seem to gravitate around those main divine figures. Sometimes these liminal beings with jackal or crocodile heads are anonymous and depicted together with the main gods, therefore hardly distinguished from them unless their names are indicated in the captions of the vignettes. This is where the category of the great gods actually intermingles with what are called minor gods, demons, or genii, namely different classes of supernatural beings. An example is that of the 42 judges of spell 125, who hear cases, in front of whom the negative confession is recited by the deceased and who are also represented in the vignette. A few of them are known already from other religious sources and have attested cults in cities, such as Nefertim in Memphis, or have epithets related to other main gods such as Nosy, of Hermopolis Thoth, and White of Teeth, Sobek. Moreover, Re, Autumn, Shu, and Tefnut, as well as other primordial gods, may be represented among the judges in the vignette, as for instance in the already mentioned papyrus of Ani. The other judges have, however, very specific and otherwise unattested names, which are connected to other places, and each of them is related to a specific sin that the deceased has to avoid. Their names are rather frightening: Far Strider, Swallower of Shades, Dangerous One, and their nature could be defined as demonic, if we accept the existence of demons in addition to the gods.